I think coming to Boston has been an eye-opening experience for me. Just getting an experience to know Boston. I haven't really heard too much about stuff like that.
I think coming to Boston has been an eye-opening experience for me. Just getting an experience to know Boston. I haven't really heard too much about stuff like that.
Ah, that's interesting.
Doing it for G.P.
Kyrie Irving in 2019.
What is your image of this city? I mean, it's not the first time something like that has happened here.
What do you mean?
Fans saying things of a racial nature to a black guy.
What do you mean, the image of the city?
Boston has a checkered history.
Well, I mean, I think that's an opinion that could be shared amongst a lot of different people, over the course of different eras. I myself can only speak for playing here as an opponent. I've never heard anything like that. But I can only go off hearing stories, and when you hear something like that, especially of people of color, I gravitate towards being on anyone's side as long as it's the right side. And really, it just matters just treating people with respect. That's really what it comes down to. I think sports, there really gets a gray area where sometimes fans can say really hurtful things, and they treat us. I don't want to say, I said some fans, not all fans. I'm just saying sometimes some instances come where it goes way beyond basketball, and that's a personal thing, and it matters to all of us because we have kids, we have families that we represent. We represent very different backgrounds, and I think coming to Boston has been an eye-opening experience for me. Just getting an experience to know Boston. I haven't really heard too much about stuff like that.
I think coming to Boston has been an eye-opening experience for me. Just getting an experience to know Boston. I haven't really heard too much about stuff like that.
Ah, that's interesting. Kyrie Irving, just days before he comes to meet a conglomerate of fans, including me, a black man, tired of you motherfuckers across the world, my people, trying to make people who look like me in Boston feel ashamed of being where we're from because of a narrative about Boston being the epicenter of racism in America.
In America!
Especially coming from somebody coming out of New York who... I'll get into that after this hypocritical fucking video. Let's go, Kyrie.
I know when you were in Boston, you always had such good things to say about the crowds there and the feeling of playing at the Garden. What do you expect now that there's going to actually be people there in the building as opposed to last time?
I mean, it's not my first time being an opponent in Boston. So, I'm just looking forward to competing with my teammates, and, hopefully we can just keep it strictly basketball. There's no belligerence or any racism going on, subtle racism and people yelling from the crowd. But even if it is, it's part of the nature of the game, and we're just going to focus on what we can control.
Is it something you've experienced in Boston before?
I'm not the only one that could attest to this.
Does Boston have racist white people? Yes! Hell the fuck yeah! Mad truth to it. But don't discount everywhere else in America. This shit is a problem. Back to my point. Especially coming from somebody coming out of New York. Amadou Diallo, rest in peace. Eric Garner, rest in peace. Khalif Browder, rest in peace. Apologies to the tennis player tackled in broad daylight. Central Park 5, stop and frisk. Donald Trump. Point being, you get called a nigga in Boston, you'll probably get called a nigga in Arizona, a nigga in Idaho, a nigga in New York, a nigga in LA, a nigga in New Mexico. Not only is it disrespectful to the black people in Boston to continually push a narrative about all Boston fans being just racist white motherfuckers with pitchforks, disrespectful to the fact that Massachusetts has the most diverse combination of races in America. Again, to just chop this shit up as all racist white people because you motherfuckers keep hanging on to the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson basketball narrative. You would think Black Lives Matter has been up and down through Boston the last 10 years or so. The way you motherfuckers act like Boston's filled with racist white people. There are racist white people everywhere. And it does a disservice to the plight of black people to basically ignore everything that's happening around America just to put Boston on the forefront. And as for the white people in Boston who want to deny black people's racist experiences and give your fucking opinion, understand one thing. You're white. 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 You should not have an opinion on shit you do not experience, period. And back to Kyrie Irving, this is the same nigga who last year during the bubble was injured and was all for going to the bubble until they told him he couldn't be on the bench because of coronavirus. You know what Kyrie did? The motherfucker flipped up and said, you know what? We probably shouldn't be a part of the bubble. All the Black Lives Matter shit going on, we probably shouldn't even be playing. Even though black people are your main fucking audience. White people go to the games. Black people are watching basketball religiously. But there you go, Kyrie, of course, using black pain in real black events to fucking self-serve some sort of vengeance you had against the NBA for not letting you sit on the fucking bench. And now, because yo ass, clearly, after saging an empty fucking arena, yo ass is scared to come back to Boston and hear, fuck you, Kyrie. Fuck you, Kyrie. And them white motherfuckers, black motherfuckers in the motherfucking arena that night better boo your bitch ass every time you get the ball. Russell Westbrook just got popcorn poured on the nigga. In Philly, middle finger stuck up to him. In Philly, called a nigga. In Utah, Trae Young, spit on. And I'll get to those videos too. This is fucking America, buddy. Stop disrespecting me by telling me my city that I represent, my team, who trotted out the first black starting five in the motherfucking league, should be represented by white racists. Kyrie Irving wants to start this narrative so motherfuckers can be scared to boo. Ain't that right, Kyrie?
I'm not the only one that could attest to this.
Kyrie Irving can be mentally weak at times. Ain't that right, Kyrie?
I'm not the only one that could attest to this.
Kyrie Irving will forever be a lifelong enemy of Boston and the Boston Celtics. Because clearly the nigga wants to be. Ain't that right, Kyrie?
It is what it is.
Hey man, make sure you like this video. Subscribe to the channel. You do what you do. Next.